Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Football Fallout. This is where I watch every game every week, trying to find you the diamonds in the rough from a fantasy perspective, and maybe a little bit of gambling too, if that's what you're into. Today, this episode is all about the New England Patriots versus the Buffalo Bills. All right, everyone, so let's just dig in. I was really excited about this game, okay? So the Patriots came in, I think they were about a touchdown favorite. And I wanted to see what they were going to do to Buffalo. I thought that the defense was going to give Josh Allen fits. And I respect the defense and what McDermott does there. It's just incredible what he's done with that defense. They're a very tough team. And I'll say this, I was down on the offense coming into the season, but I am a lot higher on this offense, even though they still didn't put up a lot of points against the Patriots. I'm a lot higher on this offense actually as well. I think they're very well coached in all phases. This Buffalo team's for real. I was curious to see what would happen, right? This is their big test, the divisional foe, the 800-pound gorilla in the AFC East. What was going to happen when they played? And the game offensively, I think, went about as what I thought. I thought, Buffalo maybe 10 to 16 points or something like that. But this defense really gave the Patriots fits. It was a home game. They were amped up. I like Buffalo quite a bit. The Patriots won the game, but moving forward from a gambling perspective, man, I like both of these teams, and I think for good reason. But let's start with the Patriots and just talk about the fits that Buffalo gave them. 18 completions for Tom Brady, 39 attempts, okay? That means 21 incompletions for Tom Brady, under 50% passing, 150 yards, no touchdowns and interception. When was the last time you saw a stat line like that from Tom Brady, right? We're not used to seeing that, but this is what Buffalo's doing. It's not a fluke. Buffalo's doing this every single week to every team they play. McDermott is fantastic as a head coach. I love what he's doing, and the fact that he was able to basically take, I think, a fairly decent Buffalo defense beforehand. He inherited some talent there, and really just take it to the next level. Kudos to Buffalo. And let's talk about the running game here. So Sony Michel, 17 carries, 63 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. They couldn't get anything going as a team, 3.2 yards per carry, that 150 yards passing. I mean, it's just, what is that, 224 yards total offense for the Patriots. We're not used to seeing that, but that's what we got. In reality, this game probably was up in the air. I actually think, after having watched the game, that this is a game that Buffalo maybe should have won. I wouldn't even say could have. They probably should have won this game. And you can always talk about, what matters is the win-loss, right? So who cares? But I'll talk about Buffalo's offense in just a little bit. Let me continue and finish up with the Patriots here. James White back in action, 10 targets, 8 reception, 57 yards. Edelman, 4 receptions on 7 targets. Gordon, 3 receptions on 7 targets. Look, the offense just didn't get going. James White was the only consistent thing, but Brandon Bolden was the only guy who got in the end zone for the Patriots this week, and it was early in the game. Now, Buffalo, Josh Allen, he did kind of what I thought he would do. I thought Belichick was going to give him problems. He threw 3 interceptions before that injury. And by the way, that injury is something that we talked about on these shows prior to. Josh Allen, your job as a quarterback, in addition to having a good solid passing game and a consistent passing game, and of course protecting the ball, is protecting yourself, okay? You can't fall forward for an extra half yard. This is like what plagued RG3. Granted, Josh Allen's a lot bigger than RG3, and yes, I know legs are a big part of Josh Allen's game at this stage in his career, but you cannot be diving forward. It does not help your team to get an extra 2 or 3 feet on the ground in non-essential downs, if you're going to leave yourself open to concussions, okay? Now, the benefit is, I would say as a passer, Matt Barkley is probably more polished. So I think for the team composition and makeup, I don't think that even if Josh Allen can't play in week 5 and everything, I don't think it really hurts them, okay? Yes, I know Josh Allen, his legs extend plays, but I think Barkley might be the better passer at this point, so I think that kind of equals out. But I'm going to say this again, just kind of drill this point in. It doesn't help your team to leave yourself susceptible to injury on these things. Now, if it's 4th down, the game's on the line, you go ahead and fall for it. I don't mind that. But if it's like the 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, and you're getting a couple of yards, Josh Allen just does that too much. You got to respect your team, and part of respecting your team is protecting yourself. Russell Wilson never has an issue with this, and he's having an MVP type season already this year. I mean, it's It's something, but it's this competitive streak that is ingrained in people's heads. It's something that RG3 never really learned in his short time as a starter in the NFL. It's something that Josh Allen needs to learn, and it's a very real problem that he's going to have. He can't leave himself open to these hits. He can't. As big as he is, there are guys in the NFL that are primed to hurt him, so he needs to do better. But let me talk about the offense instead of just kind of criticizing that piece of the game. And I know if you're a Buffalo fan, you're like, oh, it's a dirty hit, blah, blah, blah. The point is he shouldn't have never been in that position. Don't fall forward, slide, give yourself up, stay safe, live to fight another day. Look, this Buffalo attack, they had receivers open deep that Josh Allen missed. They had, those 3 interceptions. If Josh Allen doesn't throw those 3 interceptions, they probably do well. Frank Gore, I'm looking at him, 17 carries, 109 yards, 6.4 yards per carry. Okay, Josh Allen, 5 carries, 26 yards, got in the end zone again, as Josh Allen does. Josh Allen, it's nice for a fantasy quarterback because he gets those rushing yards. But again, he might miss the next game. He probably won't, but he might miss the next game. Second year, you don't want to be having concussions problems this early in your career. You just don't. Let's see. Frank Gore. Yeah, I mean, this attack is balanced. You see Cole Beasley, 13 targets, 7 receptions, 75 yards. You see Knox, their tight end, 3 receptions, 58 yards. You see Yeldon was used in the passing game. John Brown. They're using every bit of the field. And what I like about this is, the Patriots try to take weapons away. So I would have thought they would have come in and tried to confuse Josh Allen with some blitzes, which I think they did. And then Frank Gore, they would probably try to shut him down in the running game. Gore was still able to get off his carries, his yardage. Cole Beasley is that short intermediate guy. Knox a little bit, the seam routes and the flag routes. You took the deep shots with Zay Jones. They had one in the first half that really they should have hit and they didn't, unfortunately. This game was out there for the Bills to win. Okay, so against probably the team that is either the best or the second best team in the league, Buffalo, man, they're a real team. They're going to be tough to play, especially as we get later into the season. Teams have to go into that cold environment. You have a strong armed quarterback, a strong defense, and a strong running game. They're going to be tough to beat in December and January. I do think they're going to make the playoffs. So kudos to Buffalo. I like what they're doing. From a fantasy football point of view, I would say this: Devin Singletary has been hurt for a few weeks. When he comes back, he's going to be electric. Try to trade for him. I don't see anybody that you would want to pick up outside of maybe Cole Beasley. This is the second week in a row where he's gotten a lot of targets and a respectable amount of yards. If you're in a PPR league, you want to pick him up. He hasn't even found the end zone yet. It's only a matter of time. He'll probably finish the season with like 4 or 5 touchdowns, and then get a lot of catches and a pretty respectable amount of yards. So he has that Julian Edelman type game, that Julian Edelman type stats without a lot of the touchdowns, because Josh Allen's too busy trying to dive for touchdowns. But no, I like that. So again, Cole Beasley, if he's on waivers, I think is worth it in a PPR league. And then Devin Singletary, I'm telling you, I was talking about Nick Chubb in another video. What I saw Nick Chubb last year before he was like the guy getting the bulk of the carries, he's the electric guy that can take it to the house on any play. Devin Singletary is like that. He's too good to be bottled up for long. So if you can grab him in a trade, do so. So there you go. There's another episode of the Fantasy Football Fallout. If you could please support our channel, all you have to do is subscribe and watch some videos, all free. If you like what we're doing, we do all these game-by-game reviews, the reactions, and then we do game-by-game primers for the next week that talks a little bit about game picks against the spread, and it's focused in on fantasy football analytics, daily fantasy football analytics that are computer-driven as well. So again, check all that stuff out. Free. We release new content basically daily, and it's all primed to get you paid in fantasy, daily fantasy, and against the spread stuff. So give us a shout. If you like us, comment on these videos, like a video, all that stuff helps as well. We'll get you on another episode. Thanks.